From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, July 26th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.44 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,248 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 3.8 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,554. Antiwar.com reports in a 419-3 vote, the U.S. House of Representatives has approved the Russia sanctions bill, which has also seen sanctions against both Iran and North Korea tacked on in an effort to ensure near unanimity over sanctioning at least somebody among them. The bill's primary focus is to limit the ability of President Trump to ease sanctions against Russia, requiring him first to get congressional approval for such a move. The three opponents were Representatives Justin Amash, Thomas Massie, and John Duncan Jr. Though the White House had initially objected to the bill as limiting presidential powers, they've since indicated that President Trump will sign the bill. That's only going to happen, however, if the bill gets through the Senate, and there's no guarantee that will happen. That's because despite all the wrangling in the House, Senate officials still say their version has stumbling blocks, and there's no timetable for any sort of vote on a Senate version of the bill yet, with the possibility of getting one comparable to the House still uncertain. Congressional hawks praised the bill for its various sanctions against favored targets. The European Union, however, has warned if the U.S. House sanctions end up targeting German companies that do business with Russia, mostly energy importers, they should expect EU retaliation in the form of sanctions against the United States. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a Secret Service officer was injured when he accidentally discharged a weapon Tuesday in Washington, D.C. A spokesman for the Secret Service said the service requested an ambulance after an officer assigned to the service's Washington field office was involved in an accidental discharge of a weapon while on duty. The officer was transported to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The local Fox affiliate in D.C. reported that the officer sustained a thigh injury. No one under Secret Service protection was nearby at the time of the incident. The Secret Service's Office of Professional Responsibility is reviewing the shooting. Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organization to show up in an emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare to the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411, because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com. Reuters reports some of the immigrants who survived a deadly human smuggling journey into Texas are seeking visas to stay in the United States in exchange for testimony against those responsible for the operation that killed 10 people on a sweltering truck, according to a lawyer. There is precedent for such visas, and it could help U.S. authorities bring more people to justice, according to some experts. So far, only one person has been charged, the driver of the truck, who said he was unaware of the human cargo aboard until he took a rest stop in San Antonio. He could face the death penalty if convicted. The case could also provide a test for the administration of President Donald Trump, which has promised to crack down on undocumented immigration and the criminal syndicates responsible for human trafficking. Sylvia Mentz, an attorney representing the Guatemalan consulate in Houston, said she had contact with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security to see if they would consider granting U visas available to victims of crime such as human trafficking who have pertinent information to provide law enforcement. At least 100 undocumented immigrants, mainly from Mexico and Guatemala, were crammed into the back of the truck after crossing the U.S. border. Mentz said in a telephone interview, "If we're able to establish the case, we will go ahead and seek the visas." Shane Folden, special agent in charge of Homeland Security investigations in San Antonio, said most of the people found alive at the scene are still in local hospitals. He said it was too early to talk about possible visas. He said in a telephone interview, "There are a number of paths towards immigration relief for a situation such as this. We are not at that point yet." Of the 39 people found at the scene, 10 have died, 22 were in hospitals, and 7 have been released and were being questioned. Most of those aboard the truck fled before authorities arrived to capture them. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.